Morning guys, hope you're okay. Bit of a chilly one this morning, as you can probably see. Anyway, I thought I'd do a quick video on the assistance systems that come with the car. Now I'm basing it on the R-line because that's the model I've got. So if you're looking at one of the other spec of Tiguans, I'm sorry, I don't cater for that, but maybe it'll sway your decision to get an R-line instead. So today I got a bit of help with me, joined by my best mate today. Let me just turn this camera around. Frank, say hello to the internet. The internet, say hello to Frank. He's ace. He's the bounciest, friendliest, happiest German Shepherd you're ever likely to meet. Frank's got his own video. He'll put a card up there if you want to go and watch it. Anyway, let's get back. So what does the car come with as a basic spec? Well, it's fairly well stacked, to be honest with you, even as the basic S model. But you don't want the S model. Why would you buy the S? Step up at least to the S or the SE or the SE nav. So standard across the range with the S, you've got stability control, emergency city braking, auto lights and wipers, auto doing rear view mirror, and lane assist, and the electronic handbrake with the auto hold as well. SE/SE nav comes with adaptive cruise control, driver alert system, high beam assist, parking sensors front and rear with the collision avoidance, so if you're just crawling and it thinks you're going to hit something, it'll put the brakes on for you, and the static cornering lights. SEL and R-line come with the adaptive lane guidance, dynamic light assist, LED headlights. If you get the DSG box, it's also got the traffic jam assist, and from late 2017, all R-lines came with progressive steering as standard, which was a £200 option, so winner. Now that list isn't exhaustive. There's obviously optional extras you can add to it, like side scan, the emergency assist, park assist, so the car will park itself, dynamic chassis control, trailer assist, blah, 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 blah. But they're all the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head. And also that is for UK spec cars. I can't talk for the US or European spec, UK cars only. Now I can't do a demo video of the assist systems fitted to the car while I'm out here walking over the heath. So let's grab Frank, go and put the heated seats on and get back out in the car. In. Good lad. A lot of the assist systems on this car are fairly self-explanatory, and I'm not going to insult your intelligence by telling you how the parking sensors work, etc, etc. But a lot of the systems that work in this car work seamlessly, and a lot of the time without you knowing it. One of those is the auto city stop, which is scanning the road all the while, using the radar, using the camera. It can catch you out sometimes, especially if you're not used to it. What I suggest you do is go into the settings menu and you can alter the sensitivity of the auto city brake and set it to medium, and then it's fine. The TFT display in the center console is displaying the speed limit. It uses GPS data and the camera to identify the speed limits on the road. So, lane assist and the adaptive cruise control, what's that all about? Well, the adaptive cruise control, you set the speed that you want to be travelling at, and the car will maintain that speed. If there's a vehicle in front of you, it will see the vehicle in front of you, and if it will apply the brakes or accelerate, depending on what the vehicle in front of you does. Now, if you'll see on the central display, you can see that it's recognised the truck in front of me. It displays it as a car, but it's not that clever. Now it will keep that distance from that truck. If I want to increase the distance, push the button in the centre of the steering wheel with the picture of the car on it, and I can use the toggle buttons to increase the distance from the truck in front. So if I set it at maximum, and you can see what that looks like, car is steadily slowing down until it gets to that distance, and then it'll match the speed of the truck in front. So there we are, we're now at the maximum distance that we can follow that truck at, which is fairly safe distance. The only downside to that is it creates such a big gap that vehicles are probably pulling into that gap and hamper your progress, and the car will be stopping and starting, etc. So I tend to have it on the closest setting because it works just as well with that. So we'll change that now, press the button in the middle of the steering wheel, dial the toggle all the way back, we accelerate and we'll catch up with that truck. And that's us at the closest setting. Now, it's a really, really good system. It takes a lot of the stress out of driving. The only downside that I found is once you've got it set and you sit behind someone, you forget that the cruise control is actually active. You look down and you're just doing 50 mile an hour behind the guy in front. You kind of forget about it, but it does take a lot of the stress out of driving. Now, if I wanted to overtake this, obviously put the indicator out, move it out into lane 2, it will get back up to the speed in which I'd set the cruise control at. So let's overtake this truck. I have to put the indicator on and I'll explain to you why in a sec. And the car accelerates back up to 70 mile an hour. Now it's quite steady, the progress, because I've got the driving control set in Eco. If you had it set in individual or sport and change the engine drive settings, it would get up to speed a lot quicker. Now the cruise is set at 70, but if you can see in the central display, it's recognised that there's a car in lane 2, so it's slowed me down to whatever speed that truck's doing, but it won't allow me to undertake. Now I can override that just by touching the throttle, and it will accelerate back up to whatever I'd got this cruise set at. Now, like I mentioned before, if I wanted to change lanes, it's probably best to use the indicator, because if I tried to change lanes without using it, the lane assist would put some feedback into the steering wheel, and then you would feel resistance through the steering wheel. Now, it's easy enough to override, you just give it a bit more effort and it'll move out. So to alleviate that, all you have to do is indicate and you don't get that resistance. You'll now notice that because of all that snow, I've got a message come up that says front assist not working. So I lose the radar guided cruise control. Hopefully in a second it'll clear itself. If I try and activate the cruise control, all I get is ACC sensor impaired. The lane assist, if you look at the central display, you can see the white lines either side of the car are highlighted. So that's the vehicle in front, that's not my vehicle. Underneath you can see the green road. Now it's green to show that the system is active. Now essentially I could let go of the steering wheel and the car will continue to drive itself. But I'd be daft to drive down the road with my arms folded, put it on YouTube for the world to see. So I'm not going to let go of the steering wheel. But what I will do is grip it very, 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 very gently. And you'll just have to take my word for it that the vehicle is remaining in the centre of the lane. Something else that assists that is the adaptive lane guidance. You can turn that on and off in the settings, providing your car is fitted with it. And what that will do, it will learn your preferred placement in the lane, and then it will maintain that position. So if you like to drive right up to next to the white line, the car will learn that and it will then stay there. As you can see, we're right up against the white line now. I would rather be in the middle, so let's move it to the middle of the lane. In fact, let's move it over to this white line just to illustrate that. Now if I let go of the steering wheel, it'll stay up close to this white line now. That is the adaptive lane guidance. It's on top of lane assist. I'll put it back in the centre of the lane. Now I'm just very gently holding onto the steering wheel, and it is keeping me smack bang in the middle of the lane. If I was to turn that system off, what I would be doing is just bouncing between the two white lines. And what tends to happen is, the greater the angle that you're bouncing, eventually the car won't be able to take over for you, and you'll drift off into the next lane. So what happens if you don't touch the steering wheel for a lengthy period of time? Well, I'll show you so you don't have to try it. So we're doing 66 mile an hour behind this Tiguan. I'm just going to grip the steering wheel very, very gently. So I may as well not be holding on, but I am. I'm in full control. After about 30 seconds, we'll have a notification come up on the screen saying please take over, and as if by magic, there it is. Now in another 20 odd seconds, we'll get another bong, a little bit louder. If I don't do anything then, it will slam the brakes on, briefly. Now I am going to take over now, because next time it slams them on even harsher. To get the system operating again, it just needs the very slightest touch on the steering wheel. Now I have seen some videos where it suggests that if you get a big bottle of water and put it in the hole in the steering wheel, it will permanently drive on the lane assist. You don't have to touch it. I've tried that, it doesn't work. So there we have it, that's adaptive cruise control and lane assist in a nutshell. Basically, make sure that you've got the cruise control switched on, press set. It will show you in the speedo at the bottom what your cruise control is set at. You can up it in increments of 5 mile an hour by pressing the silver toggle switches. You can set it by increments of 1 mile an hour, either up or down, by pressing the resume and set button quickly, briefly. Right, traffic jam assist. So we are in a queue of traffic. Only works with the DSG box. I've got the cruise control set still because we've just come off the motorway at 70. Now, I'm not touching the accelerator or the brake. The vehicle is watching that truck in front. It's a very, very good system. However, the Tiguan's not the smoothest of drivers. So it does tend to bring you to quite a sharp stop. And when it gets going again, it does tend to... It's not very smooth. But it's brilliant. It works as well as I would have expected, to be honest. It's very, very good. So if the car comes to a stop, if the car in front gets going within a few seconds, it will just start to move off. If it doesn't, and we're stationary for a longer period of time, and you want to get the car up and running again, you can either just blip the accelerator and it will start to move off, or you can press and hold or briefly, make sure it's like a definite press on the resume button, and it will move off. So we've come to a dead stop there. It noticed the truck moved, and off we went. It's maintaining quite a nice, safe distance from the truck in front. Like I tried to explain earlier, even though the ACC is set to its closest settings, and there we go, we've stopped. The engine's cut out. It notices the truck moves off, and if I press the resume button, away we go. It's brilliant. I still have to keep hold of the steering wheel because the lane guidance doesn't work under 40 mile an hour. Okay, coming to another stop. And because we were only held briefly, I didn't need to do anything. The car moved off on its own. fantastic system. So there you have it. That's the cruise control, the lane assist, the adaptive lane guidance, the traffic jam assist. If there's anything else you want me to cover, leave a comment in the section below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As always, thanks for liking and subscribing. You can subscribe at the little black button up there. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you again soon.